Okay, so I was not going to go live today. We are working on a USMNT abroad teaser video for tomorrow. And I kind of got tired at this point of just talking crap about these players in general. But this was kind of ridiculous that came out today. It's a clip from CBS in their Paramount Plus Pulysick documentary. It's already kind of silly that Pulysick has a documentary, but I mean, look, I might as well promote it here. If you guys want to go watch it, go watch it. It's on Paramount Plus because you never know. I'm going to play this tiny little clip and react to it. They might try to copyright strike me. We don't know what they're going to do. I don't think they will, but the mic's not on.
How's it now? How's it now? Is it good? Okay, we're good. Should be good now. Well, now it should be the mic. You guys let me know if it's the mic or not. Now listen, let's okay, I fixed it. There you go. So I might as well promote it. This is the Pulysick documentary, his docu-series. And you guys can go watch it on Paramount Plus. But CBS Sports Golazo posted today a clip that's probably a promo. It's Christian Pulysick and Tim Weah open up about the criticism of some U.S. soccer legends in the latest episode of Pulysick's documentary. I talked about it. I think it's silly that he even has a documentary, and I haven't watched it. But if you want to go watch it, go watch it. Maybe one day when I'm very, 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 very bored, I'll watch it. So let's roll the clip. I want to react to it. After that, I want to talk about an interview that Tyler Adams had. And then I want to go back to some things that Pulysick has said in the past, because it's getting kind of ridiculous of how soft this generation is, right? And you guys are going to see with this clip. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and drop a like in this video if you want to. Let's react to this. The volume's up. Let's do it.
I'd say the most annoying thing, and for me the biggest cop-out of all time, is when, especially, all pundits want to say, they didn't want it. They didn't have the heart. Back in our day, we would fight and we would die on that field.
So a couple of things here right away. Pulysick, he's a player that I've liked a lot more in the past, but when you watch him talk these days, he sounds very entitled even, right? Even to a certain extent, if you think about it, the pundits or the former players that are criticizing this generation right now, a lot of them which I don't really like that much either, they're only being able to do it because it's enabled by the players. The current players fucking suck, right? So again, he said that saying that they didn't want it and all that is just lazy analysis. So let's change the analysis. Let's change it. It's not that they don't want it. They just suck ass. That might be the best way to put it. The thing is, when you look at these players and you look at them playing for their clubs and you see the level that they're playing, it's hard to come to the conclusion that they suck ass, right? I mean, as far as I know, they're good players, especially Christian Pulysick, right? He's an incredible player. So when you're trying to analyze what's going wrong, it just looks very often that this team either doesn't care, the national team is not a priority. And by the way, Pulysick not going to the Gold Cup this summer clearly shows that the national world, the money's with the clubs. It's with the clubs. So my overall point here is, let's just keep watching. Let's just keep watching. It's just getting completely ridiculous. Let's go back. Let's go.
When we were on the field, there were guys on the field, all over the field, who if they didn't perform well, their club team probably lost. But there's not a lot of guys who fall into that.
I think those guys are chasing chicks. And for me, I just feel like they're really evil. Honestly.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Tim Weah said that they're just chasing clicks. I'm going to replay that actually. And they're evil. These pundits are evil. That's what Weah said. Let's go back here. Hold on. We need to hear this again. Let's hear this again.
Well, their club team probably lost. But there's not a lot of guys who fall into that.
I think those guys are chasing chicks. And for me, I just feel like they're really evil. Honestly.
You guys heard that, right? It did sound like he was saying chasing chicks, but I think he meant clicks, right? Regardless, evil. That's the word he used. They're evil. He does explain it. And we can place it here now real quick. But former U.S. men's national team players. And by the way, anyone that says, oh, they're talking about Landon, it's not only Landon. Oh, they're saying chasing checks. Sorry, not chicks. Checks. There you go. Money. Which, I mean, that's what the players are too. I don't see an issue with the players doing that. They have to go where they get paid, right? So sorry, he said checks, not chicks. And that's what the players are doing too. The players are chasing checks, right? They're going to make money. Uh, we talked about this before. What are they playing for? The players. What are they playing for? Would they do this for free? They don't do it for free. They get paid for the national team. They get paid with their club. They don't do it for free. It's for money, right? And honestly, they're professional soccer players. That's fine with it. And these former U.S. men's national team players are pundits. They're professional pundits. They get paid to do so. Whether their takes are disingenuous, whether they're doing it for clicks or for money, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. That's their job, right? So let's see what else Way I had to say.
Because they've been players and they know what it's like when you're getting bashed, and those are the same guys that'll turn around and shake your hand and try.
So they were former players and they know how it is when you were getting bashed and blah blah blah. But here's the thing. I think there's a general agreement that this generation is more talented than previous ones. I think we have more depth than ever. We have better players. And if you're not getting results, because actually, there's one thing that Weah says that I really want to talk about because it actually got on my nerves. The whole evil thing, that is just ridiculous, right? I'm not a big fan of Landon Donovan, the pundit. The player was incredible, but it's just like Crazy Town is getting set loose when you go and you just put out there that it's like he's evil. It just sounds soft as shit. That's the truth, right? It just sounds very soft. It's not a good look for Pulysick. It's not a good look for Weah. And the funny part of all of this is in the documentary. So it was recorded, and I'm assuming it was approved, right? It was approved. And let me just put this here. The doc part is just soft. Like if you play bad, people react like you are bad. Just play good, then people say it's good. Essentially, it's that because if we were winning games, you're right, MT. You're right. If the U.S. men's national team was winning games, they wouldn't have to say anything because they're backing it on the field. They wouldn't have to say anything. The reason there's been so much criticism is because we've been dog shit. We were dog shit with Berhalter. We're dog shit with Pochettino. Unfortunately, reality is starting to sink in, and the common denominator are the players. Right, we had a bad coach, in my opinion, Greg Berhalter, and then we got a coach that is allegedly good, and things are not going well. So that's the reason. And people are questioning the heart of this team, especially when your best player, Christian Pulysick, captain, best player, in my opinion, the best player the U.S. men's national team's ever had, just takes the summer off. I thought he was injured when that happened first, but apparently he wasn't. Right, his own words. Right, he just wanted to go golfing and rest, which is fine. He would have had his vacation anyway, by the way. If he went to the Gold Cup, he still would have had vacation. It's just that he would have missed part of preseason with Milan, which honestly, I don't think it would have mattered too much in terms of his playing time because he is one of the most important players for Milan. And by the way, everyone, if you want to, smash the like button. If you don't want to, it doesn't matter. Let's continue this.
Try to be friendly with you at the end of the day.
These guys want clicks. It's social media, it's subscribe to my channels, listen to my podcasts, or whatever.
Oh, Mark Pulysick. We really needed to hear his opinion. Mark Pulysick's opinion right there. That's really what we needed as USMNT fans. What does Mark Pulysick have to say? It's funny because I have this theory that if he was placed if Mark Pulysick or the Pulysicks were placed in the same situation as the Reynas in the 2022 World Cup, I think the behavior would have been similar. Not the whole thing of like bringing up dirt. I don't want to say they would do that. I actually don't think they would do that. But what I meant is like confronting the coach or confronting or creating issues, right? The whole thing of bringing back past dirt on Berhalter, that was cheap from the Reynas. That was a little too far, right? But I think if put in the same situation, the Pulysicks would probably very likely create some issues. Now, would it come out to the public? Maybe, maybe not. But I think they would have. Don't forget that Mark Pulysick was he arguing with, he was calling out Landon and Howard or just Landon Donovan the other day on Instagram. It's like, what happened to shame? This is like the most soccer dad-like behavior in America. This is literally what happens with youth soccer in America. Soccer dad-like behavior from Mark Pulysick. I don't think Pulysick needs his dad to speak on his behalf. I'm sure he's fine with it. Otherwise, he would have told Dad, you need to stop. But again, it's like, why is Mark Pulysick fighting these fights? I know it's his son, but again, like his son is a grown man, a very, very influential, talented too, young man that doesn't really need that. It's literally, it's what they're saying in the chat. It's pay to play behavior. It's classic entitled American soccer dad behavior. Like if you're involved with youth soccer in America, Mark Pulysick's behavior, or even the Reyna's behavior, should be no surprise to you. It honestly should be no surprise to you. Okay. And let's keep going here.
Don't get me wrong, I respect all of them. I mean, there were players that I looked up to, but quite frankly, the guys before us didn't win anything either.
The guys before, this is what Weah just said. Quite frankly, the guys before us didn't win anything either. Well, the guys before you, or the generation before you that even failed to qualify to the World Cup, even though Pulysick was there, it wasn't really his generation. They made it to a Copa America semifinals. The generation before that, in 2009, they made it to a Confederations Cup final, knocking out Spain, one of the best teams of all time, one of the best, definitely the best Spain of all time, but actually one of the best national teams of all time. That team knocked them out. The generation before you made it to the quarterfinals of the 2002 World Cup with less talent, with less resources. They made it to the quarterfinals. They went toe-to-toe with Germany. And if it wasn't for the ref messing up, even a ball that Greg Berhalter hit, and I think it was it Torsten Frings? I think it was Frings that took the goal from the U.S. with his hand. There should have been a red and a penalty. The U.S. could have made it to the semifinals. And if the U.S. made it to the semifinals, the U.S. would have played South Korea. And who knows how that would have gone. We could have had even a World Cup final. Sure, it didn't happen, but they still made it to the quarterfinals with all that adversity, something this generation failed to do in 2022. And now they're going to get a shot next year, and ultimately their legacy will be built on the 2026 World Cup, unfortunately, because everything else has been complete shit. This generation was the first host nation in the history of Copa America to get grouped at home. There's never been another national team. There's never been one. It's this generation barely qualified to the 2022 World Cup. They barely qualified. And people are going to say, no, they didn't. They qualified directly. Yes, they qualified on goal differential against Costa Rica, if you guys don't remember. We were behind Mexico, we were behind Canada, and we qualified on goal differential. So, frankly, they didn't win much in the past. I don't like the direction a lot of the former U.S. men's national team players that are the current pundits. I don't like a lot of the ways they go about it in how they protect the federation, how they protect some decisions for Major League Soccer, or even protect the Greg Berhalter for the matter. But we are where we are today thanks to them. And you may say, oh, that's not good enough right now. Well, there was progress being made. This generation seems like we took a step back, where previous U.S. men's national team generations had less resources, worse players, a worse coach, by the way, and they seem to always, not always, but very often punch above their weight. The biggest accomplishment this generation has is beating the worst Mexican generation of all time a few times. That's the best accomplishment this generation has. So it's just the whole clip is very soft, and it's not over yet. Let's finish the clip.
I think they should look in the mirror and look at their last performances for the national team before they start talking shit.
So that's Mark Pulysick and saying they should look in the mirror, probably talking about Landon Donovan, maybe Tim Howard. I don't know if Alexi Lalas, Hurt Gomez. They're talking about former U.S. men's national team players. And Mark Pulysick says they should look in the mirror before talking shit. What I'm wondering is, should the current U.S. men's national team players look themselves in the mirror? Should Christian Pulysick look at himself in the mirror? Because this is what Christian Pulysick had to say when the Berhalter thing was going on with Reyna. A few months after, Pulysick was interviewed a few months after, and he said, "I'm not here to appoint the next manager." This is Christian Pulysick's words, okay? It is my job. It's not my job. And whoever it is, I'm going to play and give 100%. Everything that happened with Greg, first of all, has been handled in an extremely childish manner. I think we have seen what has been going on. I think it is childish. It is youth soccer. Christian Pulysick said this in 2023. I think the involvement in general of his dad right now, right? His dad, even in the documentary, like, or fighting Lyndon Donovan online. I know Christian Pulysick won't watch this. I know Christian Pulysick doesn't give a shit of what I have to say, but I'm asking you guys. It's like, is it not youth soccer like behavior right now from Pulysick and his, well, not Pulysick specifically, but his dad, and Pulysick's clearly fine with it, right? Is it not youth soccer? Like the clip I just showed you, I'll put it back. This was Christian Pulysick in 2023 saying that the whole thing with the Reina saga, I think the Reina saga was a bit worse than childish behavior. It was worse than that, in my opinion, but that's a way to put it as well. But is this not childish behavior? Is this not youth soccer behavior?
And look at their last performances for the national team before they start talking shit.
Is this not youth soccer behavior? A soccer dad coming out and just calling out pundits that are criticizing the U.S. men's national team players right now, criticizing his son, obviously, for obvious reasons. I mean, the results have been terrible. It's not like they're getting criticized for no freaking reason. There's a lot of reasons. There are a lot of reasons why they're getting criticized. That's what I'm trying to understand, right? That is what I'm trying to understand. And then 1 year before the freaking 2026 World Cup, 1 year, less than 1 year, they are releasing this documentary dividing the whole U.S. men's national team community even further before the World Cup, right? It's always a bald guy, man. It's always a freaking bald guy. It's Greg Berhalter, Mark Pulysick, Lex Luthor. It's always a bald guy. But it's just becoming one of those that it's becoming very tiring and an unlikable generation. And clearly they don't give a flying crap about the fan base. These guys do not care about the fan base because the perception of these players has been tanking every single year. From 2021 was probably peak. That's when everyone was excited for this generation. I honestly was even delusional. And that's my mistake right there. I thought this generation was special. I thought they had it in them. Not just talent. I thought also the mindset. And now I am starting to question the talent a little bit of this generation and the mindset. And I mean, again, we've had the Reina saga, which was definitely worse than this. It's not comparable, but we have also Mark Pulysick behaving like a classic soccer dad here in the United States of America. And it's funny because it's not just this clip, right? And I even saw Alexi Lalas reacting to this because Tyler Adams had an interview, I believe, also on CBS. I think it was with Jimmy Conrad's podcast. Yeah, Jimmy Conrad's. So let me just go through this one. And this is about Tyler Adams, right? And these are his quotes. So here it is. First, Pulysick went to Jimmy Conrad's podcast at CBS, and then he said, "You can talk about my performances, whatever you want, but to question my commitment, especially towards the national team, in my opinion, that's way out of line. But that's how it is." Well, the reason people were questioning Christian Pulysick's commitment was because he decided to take the summer off. After the U.S. men's national team was embarrassed in the Copa America at home, had some mediocre friendlies, and then lost to Panama and Canada in the Nations League, the Gold Cup was a great opportunity for this team to build chemistry and make a statement that, believe in us, we're back. Let's get into the World Cup. Let's win this. Let's beat Mexico. Let's win the Gold Cup. Let's bounce back from all the bullshit and all the bad results. It didn't happen. We didn't win. We lost to Mexico. We had honestly a mediocre at best Gold Cup, and Christian Pulysick didn't go. That's why people were questioning his commitment. It wasn't out of the blue, right? They weren't really questioning his commitment until he decided not to go to the Gold Cup. Before that, the criticism was mainly on the field performances. And to be fair, Pulysick very often is not criticized that heavily. One, because he's our best player, and two, because honestly, he hasn't really played that badly for the national team. He's had bad performances, but he's never been terrible for the national team. He's a streaky player. But this is what Tyler Adams had to say. He was asked about what he feels like a disconnect between players from the past and present in the program. Adam calls it the strangest thing. So this was when Tyler Adams was questioned about players of the past questioning the present program, which I don't understand what's the issue with Hurt Gomez, Alexi Lalas, Eric Rinaldo, Landon Donovan, Tim Howard. If they've become pundits, what is the issue with them criticizing this generation? Have they gone over the top? Have they been racist? Have they attacked a player personally? Or have they been talking mainly about soccer? I guess Howard did attack Pulysick personally due to politics once. And sure, Pulysick can go question him about that, even though Pulysick is free to also attack Howard and his politics. That's the good thing about the U.S. You still can do that. But let's see what Tyler Adams had to say. And he said, I can't even explain it. He says, I'm not a social media guy. That's what Tyler Adams is saying. That's classic. That's the guy that is on social media. He sees stuff. He's like, I'm not into social media. I'm not into that. And then he goes on and he says, so I don't follow anything. You don't follow anything. But he's about to drop a lot of opinions for someone that doesn't follow anything. He's about to drop a lot of opinions. And this was what Tyler said. But when people bring up some of the things that are being said and some of the stories that are being created, it feels weird because it feels like not long ago that every single one of those people were on board with like the direction that the federation was going and how well the players were doing. Well, no shit, Tyler. If you guys are performing decently well or okay, or at least getting the bare minimum results, the criticism will be much more toned down, if maybe even zero. Honestly, during the first Greg Berhalter cycle, I would argue that former players, because the job was getting done, they were very soft on the team in the 2022 cycle because the job was getting done. I think I was heavily critical, for the better or for the worse. You can put your opinion, but I'm not the one being talked about here in this article. It's the former players. I thought during that cycle where the results were okay and the performances were but okay, like the job was getting done, the media of the former players, they were kind of soft on this team, in my opinion. Okay, so now why are they being harsh now? What else are they going to do? The results have been complete dog shit. Like, what are they going to do? If these guys compliment how this team is going, if they compliment the direction this team is going, they're going to be called shills, clueless, like whatever, or worse things. Who knows? And going on here, he says, and it feels like any setback is treated like a disaster is happening. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, I wish there was. I didn't watch the episode. I probably should. I don't know if Jimmy Conrad and his crew like pushed back, but how many setbacks have we had? Like, it wasn't one setback, right? So in 2023, after the whole drama, we rehired Berhalter. That to me was already a setback because we were ready to move on from the Berhalter era, and he got rehired. Okay, got rehired. The performances when he was back weren't great. We played a Nations League and we won the Nations League, but you got to remember that we almost got eliminated by Jamaica in the semifinals. The only reason we went through was Gio Reyna and Haji Wright saved the national team in extra time. And the only reason we got to extra time was because Jamaica scored an own goal around the 95th or 96th minute. Otherwise, we would have been eliminated in the semifinals by Jamaica, a dysfunctional Jamaican side. After that, we went to the summer of the Copa America where we got trashed by Colombia. We tied Brazil, which seemed like a good result at the time, but then we found out Brazil was also dog shit in the Copa America. And then we got grouped at home. So that's already 2 to 3 setbacks right there, if you don't want to count the performances, right? 2 to 3 setbacks. After that, Berhalter was fired. We signed Pochettino. First camp is a waste because Pochettino wasn't there. That's another setback. Then we get Pochettino in the first camp. We're missing a bunch of players because they're injured. Pulysick leaves early camp, which I was fine because it was mid-season. That's another setback. Then we beat Jamaica. We finally beat Jamaica, right, in the Nations League quarterfinals. And then we fail in the Nations League in March. Another setback. And then we failed this summer in the friendlies and in the Gold Cup. I think it's more than one setback, and it's reaching a point where people are just like, it's not that one setback is a disaster. It's the accumulation of all of them. People are tired, man. We're tired of losing. We're tired of seeing these players talk a lot and not do shit. We're tired of seeing them say they care and then they skip the summer. Now, this is not Tyler. Tyler was there during the summer. But again, let's see what else Tyler said. Let me just read the end of this. And that happens in football. I get it. Some people have jobs where their job is to speak about the sport. And if that's their opinion, that's their opinion. Okay, that's fair. I think that's a fair take from Tyler, right? It's their job and they talk. And then he says, my goal is to try to create an environment, especially within our team, where guys feel like they can go out, be themselves, be comfortable. We're all on the same page to grow the sport in America. People's opinions are people's opinions at the end of the day. Okay, so this final quote from Tyler, I'm fine with it. I think it's a good one. I think Tyler was really good with it. And he knows how to talk pretty. He knows how to do that. And this is a good one. He's just saying, like, that's their opinion. That's what Pulysick and for the documentary, Pulysick and Weah, it would be very simple of them just saying, you know, the results haven't been good. We haven't been playing well. We understand the criticism. And the only way we can fight back the criticism is by getting the results, beating our opponents, and doing well in the 2026 World Cup. Not that hard. Well, it might be hard to do that, but I'm just saying that's all they should have said. That's all they should have said. Now, it's not the entire generation that's unlikable. There's a lot of players that are likable. I saw some people saying that, what's his name? Ricardo Pepi. I think he's a likable player too, with the mindset and everything. But let me see what they have to say here at the Super Chats. Matt B said, could these kids be any more unlikable? Pulysick is coming off as so entitled. What happened to the 18-year-old crying at Trinidad in 2018? I don't know what happened to Pulysick. There was a moment in time where he was my favorite player. I still root for him. I wish him the best at Milan. I want him to do well at Milan. I will be covering and rooting for him every weekend, and I hope he does well in the World Cup. But yeah, he has become very unlikable, unfortunately. And I really hate to say this. I keep saying it, and this is how I can tell you that I don't want to be biased about this. I still think he's the best player the U.S. men's national team has ever had. And my opinion about that will not change based on stupid shit that he says. But it seems like every time Pulysick opens his mouth, it stinks. It stinks very badly. Just do the talk on the field. If you're winning, you will shut everyone up, including myself. You'll shut everyone if you do the winning. But we're not doing that, right? The ski is saying Landon was soft too, but at least everyone around him had balls. We got nobody. Well, yeah. I mean, in the past, you look at our players, Clint Dempsey. There's not a single player as tough as Dempsey these days. Jermaine Jones. You can go even further down. Oh, Brian McBride. You can go even deeper to 2002, like Eddie Pope. Like, we don't have those guys anymore. The mindset just ain't there until proven otherwise. Corpsey say, we suck until we win a trophy outside of CONCACAF. Yeah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Not with this generation. S27 said, Pepi is easily the most likable guy on the team. I would say so. You guys can let me know in the chat there. Who's the most likable player of this generation? I would have to sit down and think. I think Dest is very likable. Serginho Dest. I would say Pepi and Dest are definitely in the top 3 of most likable, right? But just going back here, if you guys want to, I put the link to the full clip in the description of this video. I also put the link to the article of Tyler Adams' interview, if you guys want to go look at that. Chris Richards is likable. I like Chris Richards a lot. But anyhow, I was just going through this clip. If you guys want to go watch it or just go back on the stream, I reacted to it. Hopefully CBS doesn't copyright strike me for this. Hopefully they just let it be. And once again, if you want to watch this episode, this is from Pulysick's documentary on Paramount Plus. This video is not sponsored by them, by the way. Okay, it's totally not sponsored. I'm even going to say I haven't watched it, and I don't plan on watching it. But since I'm using their clip, I'll promote it. Go watch it if you guys want to. And they're saying, be careful, Tack. Mark Pulysick will come after you. No, he won't. I don't think Mark Pulysick knows who I am. I don't think he also, even if he does, I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares. There might be some personal beef going on between him and Landon Donovan as well. I don't know if they have history there in U.S. soccer, but there was also like some political stuff involving like Tim Howard. There's just like internal beef with those guys. They just don't like each other. But it is ridiculous. We're 1 year away from the World Cup, and every time this generation opens their mouth, it feels like they become softer, more unlikable, and they show how entitled they are. Like, just going back Tim Weah called these former U.S. men's national team players evil. And they said they didn't win anything in the past, but they did accomplish more for the national team than this generation. So far, of course, this generation still has time to redeem themselves. I don't have much faith on them, but they still have time to redeem themselves. I don't think they will, but we'll see. Ultimately, this generation, despite all these years, which they could have accomplished a lot, and their legacy could have been set, and then when the World Cup comes, they could have just jacked up that legacy. But right now, the 2026 World Cup is kind of a make it or break it for this generation. If they just do the bare minimum, they'll be forever known as this generation that never lived up to the expectations, soft players, weak mentality. I guess the fool's gold generation, right? It's not the gold generation, the golden generation. It's the fool's gold generation. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget to drop a like right now if you're here in the stream before you go. And that's all I have to say for today. Tomorrow we have a USMNT Abroad teaser episode. Okay, but yeah, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Again, this was a stream that I didn't really plan. I just thought it was worth talking about because of how ridiculous this whole thing is. Okay, bye.